Hey everyone, Mike on Monday coming to you. Another warm day in Sheboygan County. It's been a number of weeks since we've had any significant rain, so great week to get your dry hay made and put away. I've got rain ordered for us for the end of the week. We'll see if that comes through for us. Corn is starting to show some the challenge of that drier conditions, or planted into mud. You're seeing a lot of leaf rolling, so a little defense is going on by the corn. But what this is going to end up, as I was looking at fields this morning, if you're looking at corn silage, I'm starting to see the height of the crop starting to change across the field. So that's going to create a challenge for us down the road. So start be thinking of how do we handle the wide range or variable of moisture if we're thinking corn silage, for getting that moisture at the right level for the bunk and such. But as a general statement, if we could get a shot of rain, the corn is looking in good shape. We blew past knee-high by the 4th of July, even though we put this stuff in later than we normally do. So awesome job going on in the corn in most acreage. Last week I alluded to, hey, watch out for bugs coming for your alfalfa stands. And again, at least in our little environment here in Sheboygan County, they're starting to ramp up really fast. That we've pulled the trigger on fields. So again, if you're managing dollars, prioritizing, so new seedings, good stands with high yield potentials yet, leave the older stands that might get the plow or the manure this fall. Those would be areas that I would recommend as we're trying to manage our money, especially if I'm in a tight situation. The field we're in today is soybeans. This is Roundup Ready beans, Roundup and some Flex Star put in the tank. So we put some burn on it early. It's a new field for this client, and to his surprise, he's got himself a new weed on the farm. It is tall water hemp, and part of what we wanted to show today is the challenge of this weed that is starting to become more prevalent across the acres here in Wisconsin and in the northeast Wisconsin. So what you see is, you know, we try to get these little guys, we want to get on him when he's small. Remember, this guy can grow an inch or two per day, so he moves really fast. And even this little guy, you see, we put a herd on him. Oh, I'm knocking off them dry leaves, but he's recovering. What's going on? How come? What's the deal here? Well, even as he had a big plant, and had this been regular pigweed, we'd have blown this guy up and he'd be dead. And we did get the main part of that plant killed off. But this plant, water hemp, is very prolific with his axillary buds. These small buds start kicking in when the main plant is in trouble, and it ends up recovering. So what we have is a field here that is going to be very challenging for the future, and our recommendation would be that let's consider getting something on the soil early to keep this water hemp as small as possible, because the bigger it gets, the more axillary buds we get, the easier it is for this thing to recover from whatever spray we use. So in this case, we know the Roundup didn't get the job done. The Flex Star, we probably should go to a higher rate than what we used in this particular field. Again, this is a new field to the client. Didn't know we had this challenge. And you might be thinking you're okay. I challenge you to go look in your fields. We'll start walking them right now, because you'll find these little guys popping up underneath, and they might only be that big right now, but now's the time to do something with them, because when they get to this size, or come with me, this size, we're not going to kill it. So burning products are what we're going to need to for the quick fix right now, but it'll be limited to how much of a fix it is. If you're not used to having your beans burnt real to a crisp, I suggest you get a hobby and go away for a week. The neighbors will talk, but you got to be that aggressive. You have to paint the whole plant with something like a Cobra, a Cadet, to get that thing killed. And you have to use higher gallons of water. You should be at least 20 gallons of water to make sure you're painting this whole thing. It's not systemic like Roundup. The Cobra is a burner, so is the Cadet. And FMC that has the Cadet will say you must use Roundup with our Cadet to get the two to work together. Cobra is a standalone, but again, it's going to burn. Your green field will be brown. You will turn sick if you have not done this before. So go away, leave it alone. Do not bother calling your agronomist or your consultant. That's what this field will do. It'll recover in most cases to a reasonable state. Now at the same time, we're entering the first stages of reproduction for the soybeans. So your first flowers are starting to show. We might knock a few of them flowers out. And yet at the same time, if you have a thicker stand, not that we're in a white mold pattern at this point, but keeping the foliage thin, keeping the air moving through the canopy is going to keep that white mold from being able to get a start. So depending on how much rains you get, I'm sure I could get to the southern part of Ozaukee County where they've been getting an inch or two a week right now. This flip-flops from too dry to too wet that the white mold becomes more of an issue. So you have challenges regardless of what we're doing out there. Again, water hemp, you got to go after it early. Get the product on the soil to help you out. It allows you to use different chemistry. Try and save those post-emerge applications for a real timeful effect, and you need enough canopy to help with that weed control. And yet trying to balance, if you get it too thick, the white mold moves in. Conundrum for bean growers, I get it. With that, signing off. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great one.